All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. So as I was leaving, Pam came out. Of course, you gotta come out, right? Because you heard the police sirens, right? So as I'm leaving, she comes over to me, both hands in her pocket, walking towards me. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? Let's see, what did she have on? She had on her bottom uniform, her bottom scrubs, and a gray shirt, right? A gray long sleeve t-shirt, right? And dead in my face, like literally dead in my face, and staring me in my face, man. And I'm looking, I'm just like, I was like, y'all really think y'all fooling somebody, right? They really think that they fooling somebody, You used to, not anymore. They used to, right? But not anymore. Not anymore. I know all their tricks and tactics for the most part, all the manipulation scheme, most of their covert actions and operations, right? Because like I said, whenever they feel them emboldened, they will reveal certain things, And as I was talking to the other TI today, she said something about Biden. She's like in the middle of some meeting, even though he shook the Chinese leader's hand when he was sitting down in the middle of some speech that was happening. He got up and went over to the Chinese premier and shook his hand again, like he didn't even know what was going on. I said, yeah, because sometimes when they do that, it's to show those of us who know what's going on that what their abilities are, what they're capable of, right? Oh shit, I missed the bus. Oh shit, I should have looked at the bus schedule, but hopefully I wouldn't have to wait too long. It's still early, it's around 8:30. Right? I said, yeah, they used to do the same thing with Obama, right? When Obama was on the campaign trail, this is, when I used to when I was looking at, not early on his campaign, as the number 32, right? KZL 3252. Right? So again, go back and you look at some of the Obama speeches, right? Where he's like pinching his nose, okay? And it's a very weird thing for a presidential candidate to do. I've never seen no other presidential candidate do that. Now, I have not looked at Biden's and Harris and also Trump, but I know that was something that Obama used to do. I used to watch Obama's campaign speeches all the time, right? So I said, yeah. I said they do that to show you their capability, what they can do, for those of us who know what's going on, all right? And again, they can always use the mental illness labeling and calling you crazy because they think that they believe that no one is going to believe us. Okay? And it's funny, so they're constantly microwaving us at the house, either at my house or at Pam, and particularly with my son Ethan, who they've been using a lot lately also. But I went through the same experience with my son Bryce, so I don't really react to it unless when they are becoming very aggressive and using him with the aggressive targeting. Then I'll sit to them and say, hey, I need you to be aware of what you're doing to stop doing it, okay? Particularly things that doesn't make any sense, And so, like for example, he's on his computer desk, and every time I entered into the living room where his computer's at, he'll constantly start pulling on his hair, or he'll grab an empty bottle of water, right? Just he's drinking a bottle of water and he's finished drinking it, he'll just grab it and put it back down. I said to him, Why are you grabbing the empty water bottle and you just put it back down on your desk? Okay, he's like, I said, go put it in the garbage. He's like, I was about to. I said, so why didn't you? You know, because it makes no sense. I said, you're not making any sense. So things like that I have to correct it. Also, the other day, and I made him breakfast, right? And he has a fork, right? And he's literally eating with his hand. I said, listen, man, are you a caveman? You know, I told him, I said, are you a caveman? I said, you have a fork in your plate. Use the fork, okay? I said, you know what etiquette is? You know what that is? Having etiquette? I said, I said to him, I said, you don't let your mind regress, okay? Use the fork. I said, I don't know where you get this habit from, but you need to cut this out. Not when I'm here. You're not going to be eating like that, okay? I gave you a fork. Use the fork. Stop eating with your hands, okay? And because his hands was on his keyboard and all this stuff, and I had to put it in his mouth. I'm like, no, stop doing that. Use the fork. So I really have to pay attention to what he is doing, and because when I see certain things are happening, I know he's being conditioned in that way, and he doesn't understand it. So I have to, like I was telling him today, I said certain things I need to let you know so that you understand. So as you become a young adult, people who try to manipulate you, you'll be able to recognize these things and spot these things. So for example, I was telling him again, you need to stay from these young teenage girls because they are one of the highest rate of young teens in the group, particularly black teenage girls who, there's always every year after year an exponential rise in STDs, right? Infections. I said I don't even want you kissing any girl, to be honest with you. I said unless you know her, where she's coming, her upbringing, right? I said you can get STDs from kissing, so don't let nobody tell you that you can't get STDs from kissing, okay? Because you certainly can, right? So and then I made him listen to this video about paternity fraud and how a lot of these women out here are pinning babies on men because they they're sleeping around and found out that they're pregnant, and so they go for the guy who they think would be the best father, right? Just like that. They just like pick and choose, would not even say, hey, being honest and say, you know what, let me be honest and say, hey, I've been sleeping with other people, I'm pregnant, you might be the father, or have you. None of that stuff. They just pick a person, right, out of the people that they're having sex with, the multiple men they're having sex with, and he might have the better job, and that's it. That you the one. So they'll leave all the other ones. They'll go no contact and just deal with that individual, right? I mean, it's crazy the way these female logic think, how their mind work. But again, it's their condition. I have to make them understand. So you can't blame them totally, but understand that they're being conditioned into these things, and particularly black people because of what has been done to us and the type of environment that we're in, right? And the fact that black parents don't really teach their children anything outside of school and church, so it leaves us at a disadvantage, So I said that's why very early I told you about these things. I taught you about these things because I don't want you to follow your friends because your friends, particularly as teenagers, particularly today, teenagers are more influential to each other than their parents are. Okay, particularly with social media and social what is called social contagion conditioning. We have to be 100% aware of that. All right, that's why I don't let my daughter look at YouTube videos where you have these young girls pretending to be pregnant and all this stuff like that. And I said no, okay, unless it's a family video where you have a mother and a father and you have kids and the mother's pregnant, then that's fine. Okay, I don't want none of that. All right, I even want to buy her one of these a doll with the whole pregnant thing. I'm like, nope. Nope. Because again, some things, I don't think kids should be, um, you know, not made aware, but like having pregnant dolls and pretending that these dolls having babies, and it's just realistic too. Like, no, 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 I'm not giving my daughter that shit. Okay, she's 10 years old. Okay, when she gets to be about 12, I already have the birds and the bees talk with her, but I have to have the serious talk like I talk to my sons when they came when they became 12 years old. I told them, you know, I sat them down and tell them everything when it comes to sex, reproduction, the dangers of it. And I tell them, I say, you're at the age that you guys are at, you're not mentally ready for those things, right? And also because again, you have parents who are working, leaving their kids at home, and their kids grow up, they hang around with their friends and they go over to this girl's house and that girl's house, and shit happens. Okay, shit happens. All right. So I said, me myself, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 17. So I was a late bloom, not because I didn't want to. It just so happened that it just wasn't something that was on my mind. It really wasn't. Until I was like 17, and one summer, and something it happened, right? It just happened. And again, not knowing about certain things, you know what I'm saying? So I we just put like this. I'm just very fortunate in that at that time that things didn't happen, right? Like she didn't get pregnant, nothing like that. I mean, of course, I didn't ejaculate inside of her, but just the fact of not really understanding and saying, hey, you know what? Let me use protection. So I don't, like I said, I never want my kids to not have that at the forefront of their mind. Don't get into that spur of the moment thing. Don't do that. Okay. Don't go into that spur of the moment thing. Particularly, like I said, you don't know if these parents are taking these, if they're taking these young people to the doctor to get them checked out and make sure that they're sexually healthy. Cause like my son, he got the vaccine for HPV. My daughter's going to get it also. And I tell my daughter, I say, when you go to a high school, you're not engaging in that kind of activity. All right. I'm saying to you right now, teach her about boys, and then she gets older, teach her about men, and teach her how to pick the right kind of men for her. Like I was telling my son today, I said, if you like a teenage girl and she likes you, and you see that she's very materialistic, you need to stay away from her. Don't even bother. Okay? Don't bother. I said you go for the ones that are, more family orientated, right? That are not all about, the materialistic things. I mean, she can have a mixture, right? She can have get some balance. Teaching your kids to have balance, and that's the whole thing. Too much of us are too extreme when it comes to the materialistic thing because we're conditioned that way. We pass that conditioning on to our young kids. Like my son, I don't buy my son Jordans. My first son, he asked me for a pair of Jordans, and it was like $200 some. I was like, "Are you crazy?" I told him straight up. I said, "I would never buy you sneakers that is more than $100." I said that would never happen, right? And all the sneakers that I bought him has not even been $100. I've paid, $30, $40, $45, $50. I think the most expensive sneakers I ever bought him was, I think I bought him some Timbs. Those are boots, but those were $120, I think, and they were on sale. But they were boots, right? But sneakers, I think the most expensive sneakers I ever bought him was like $60. Right? Because, I got to tell myself, listen, you don't always got to go for the newest and greatest, I said, when I started buying Jordans, I was buying them old Jordans. Like, I was paying like $50, $60 for those Jordans, and that was it. I haven't bought The most expensive pair of sneakers I ever bought was, I think, probably like $115, something like that. You know, and that, again, I was probably in my early 20s, and that was it. But I'm not the type to be spending all that money on sneakers. No, even on clothes, right? Even on clothes. Let me tell you something. Because listen, I wear Michael Kors, but I don't pay Michael Kors money. Okay? Because again, you know, I my shirts don't cost any more than $15, $20. So sometimes I go to Macy's, see what sale they have, and if I have these Michael Kors polos that I paid, it was like $12.99. $12.99, and some of them I have a few that cost $10. Right? So I don't need to do all that. Right? Like I said, I've never really spent a lot of money on clothes. Even my jacket, this jacket right here was $100. Okay, yeah, it was $100. This jacket, okay, $100, and I got this from Century 21 when they were still open. They're closed now, you know. But yeah, I don't ever, people see me and they're like, I was like, don't. It's because you see me. I mean, wear this, this nice jacket. I don't ever pay, that much money. And I wish there's a UK brand. It's called Bench. They have some of the warmest jackets. Okay, and let me tell you, when my first son, when he was in high school, I bought him a Bench Parker, and he had that jacket all throughout high school because I bought a little big for him, and it was the warmest jacket he's ever had. Right? He always tell me, he's like, I wish I could still fit into that jacket because that jacket was the warmest jacket I've ever had. And I paid $40-something for that jacket. I bought myself one, and I bought him one. Right? And when I tell you the warmth of that jacket, and it's not a big puffy jacket, it's a pocket jacket, but it is so warm. Right? So again, you don't have to do, like I said, I'd rather buy my kids computers, teach them how to build computers, get them into tech, all that stuff, in terms of keep them away from the name brand clothing. My son, you don't ask for any name brands. He just bought himself a sweater from Roblox, right? From one of those content creators on Roblox, right? Because I teach my kids that those things are not important. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wish I could be there more for them, and I wish the situation with me and their mother was better because it would benefit them on the long run. But modern women and the way how they are, right? So, like even my daughter, my son, I still buy my son clothes from the children's place, even though sometimes I go to Nordstrom Rack and I may buy him some underwear, stuff like that. Unless he tells me, he's like, yeah, Dad, no more. Actually, I haven't bought him any children's place clothes from since he was like 13 or so, right? But I go to Nordstrom Rack and I pick up some stuff for him. They're cheap, not expensive. This is again, and he's a kid, so you can size. There's always size small, right? And they got some great deals on some quality clothing there. And I wish we had like these the like we had back in the days, Echo, Sean John, Echo Unlimited, Sean John, Fubu, but those are back in the 90s, and the clothes were a little big, baggy. But Academics, which is another brand I used to wear, like I said, never caught up into this luxury brand shit that they got. These young people are so worshipful today. It's ridiculous. It really is. Like I said, I'll never teach my kids to spend so much money on clothes. Never. Talk to you guys in the next one.